Good morning. I am Fritz Bittenbender, Vice President of Alliance Development and State Government Affairs at BIO. We're here in the BioBiz Center in Boston, Massachusetts for our BIO meeting. And you can follow us on I Am Biotech on Twitter. Look forward to hopefully you following the conversation on Twitter with us. I'm joined today with Mitch Horowitz from the Battelle group. Battelle is one of the most internationally recognized research and development organizations in the world. And we have been privileged over the last 10 years to work with Battelle on a report on the state biosciences development in all 50 states and what's going on in terms of employment and jobs and economic impact. And we just released our report this morning, and we're here to talk to you about some of the results of
Excellent.
that. So, Mitch, I thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, our partnership over a decade has been tremendous. And
well, we've seen an industry that has taken root and continued to grow, and not immune from the recession, but has a lot of staying power.
We approached this report with a little bit of trepidation because the last report that we did really started before the global recession fully hit and the impact of that. And so we weren't sure what we were going to see in the numbers.
Right.
But can you tell us a little bit about how the industry's fared in this report?
So, actually our last report, we actually did that first year of the recession. We actually saw some growth in the industry, but I think that the economic forces at work really were too much. And so over the period of 2007 to 2010, which covers the recession, the first year of recovery, we saw kind of a modest decline of 1.4% compared to over nearly 7% for the overall economy. So clearly a lot better, but still not over that period of time a job generator. But I do think that what really stands out is looking over the decade. And when you take in account from 2001 to 2010, you see an industry that has been a significant job generator, and what really stands out is how the states perform. So it's not just a national industry, it's an industry that really has a broad base across states.
Yeah. I think one of the great things that the Battelle study shows us is that all 50 states in America participate in the bioscience industry, and we talk about how we feed, fuel, and heal the world. And there are obviously different bioscience sectors to do that, but all 50 states have at least one sector which is continued to grow and is a significant economic input in that state. Can you talk about the study and what sectors we look at and how states participate in that?
Right. Well, what's tremendous about the biosciences is that it isn't just one market that it serves. And so what we're seeing here is obviously the whole health marketplace, which we pick up in terms of drugs and pharmaceuticals and medical devices, but also some of the research and testing. We also see ag biosciences, and this year we've added an important new sector that actually works across both the drugs and pharmaceuticals, the medical devices, and ag biosciences, which is the distribution sector, which has become integral in how products are produced and in terms of getting them to the customers.
We had the pleasure to hear from Governor Perry this morning about some of the things that he's been doing in Texas to really grow the sector. What are some of the things that you're seeing states do that are really helping to grow? Because this is proactive public policy can have a profound impact on how successful the state is in these areas.
Absolutely. So clearly what marks the biosciences, and we actually see it in the jobs that are being generated, is that whole research, testing, lab sector, which every year has consistently grown. And so when people think about the biosciences, they do think about innovation, and that clearly is something for the U.S. that we lead with in the biosciences, and it's quite exciting. But it's much more than that. It actually is also about manufacturing and about services as well. So when you really take a look at the biosciences and the kinds of policies you need, you really have to work across that entire spectrum of going from research and development to commercialization onto manufacturing, and of course make sure you have that talented workforce, which is critical for this industry to move forward. Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible sitting here at the Buzz Center, looking out over the exhibit hall floor. You see all the countries and the states that are here because they really are trying to capture a piece of this industry. And I think one of the reasons they do that is this is a very industry that pays very high wages, family-sustaining jobs, good jobs that have incredible impact on the economy. Can you talk about the wage portion of this report?
Well, it's truly exciting. I mean, when we think about where high-quality jobs are going to come from in this nation, we have a sector that is over $80,000 a year on average is paid the workers, and it's not just PhDs and MDs, it's technicians, it's quality control, regulatory affairs. There's a broad spectrum of types of workers that are needed, and that is that's about 79% greater than the U.S. average of 46,000 for private sector wages. But what really stands out over this decade is the growth. Over 13% growth in that average annual wage compared to about 4% for the country. So we're seeing an industry that is not only a high wage provider, but is consistently growing in those wages.
Which is one of the reasons we have so many states out here that are trying to grow
Absolutely,
this industry.
absolutely. Well, and that together with your earlier point, which is everybody has a niche in this industry because of the diversity of the markets. So when you're thinking about where the next set of jobs are going to come from, I think most governors and their industry leaders realize there needs to be at least a part of the biosciences that they are focused on.
That's great. And when you look at, I think you have to get a copy of the report, people are listening, because there's some very great visuals in the report that show sort of where this is growing. But the interesting thing is there's not just one geography around the country. Can you talk about how this is spread out around the country?
Yes, well, I think you began to allude to it. About 34 states actually grew over the long-term period of 2001 to 2010. But when you dig into those 5 subsectors, what you begin to see there is that every state has had growth in at least one of those subsectors over that period of time. And even with the difficult economic times and the slight modest downturn in biosciences from 2007 to 2010, what you see is 22 states actually adding jobs, overall top-line biosciences sector, and another 19 just declining very modestly. So that's really something to speak of.
So is there anything in the study that surprised you? I mean, you're an economist by background. I'm sure very few things surprise you, but is there anything in the study that you said, wow, I didn't really expect this?
Yeah, I guess that strength and that resiliency of the industry, while you can see what is behind it and the kinds of drivers that we have in this nation that give the biosciences that promising future, I really wasn't sure how it was going to hold up. And so I do think that is probably the biggest surprise in the takeaway message, which is a national industry, but actually really across the states. And that's quite phenomenal.
Yeah, that is incredible. And what about the multiplier effect we have? I mean, we talked a little bit about how we create jobs in our industry directly, but our industry also has an effect downstream in employment. Can you talk briefly about that?
It certainly does, and you see it in so many ways that really touch people's lives. So when you think about clinical excellence, where is that clinical excellence coming from? It's coming from the advances that are happening across the industry side. So while we are measuring the non-clinical employment, in fact, there's a great interaction between those two. But well beyond that, I mean, when you think about what it takes to make a device, or what it takes to bring a drug, all the specialty chemicals and other kinds of ingredients that you need, you begin to see that this is an industry that touches precision manufacturing, that touches some specialty chemicals, and it allows for that full range of engagement in a community when you also bring in the hospitals as well.
That's great. Well, Mitch, it's been wonderful to have you join us in the BioBiz Center. And again, for those of you who are following this, you can also follow on I Am Biotech on Twitter. It's been great to have a partnership with Battelle, and
Thank you.
look forward to work with you in the future.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.